as their disability consultant. I have helped them make both Camden Yards more accessible as well as their spring training stadium.
Introducing Bryce Weiler.
In these programs, we want to give everyone the opportunity to do something they've always dreamed about doing or to try something new.
Blindness consultant for the Baltimore Oriels.
Helping Baltimore become the first ever team in sports to wear Braille on their jerseys to honor people who are blind and to show the importance of people who are blind learning how to read Braille.
Co-founder of the Beautiful Lives Project. beautifullives.org.
And to create these moments through using sports where they can have social change to impact various populations of people across the world and the country, and trying to expand it nationwide and even into Canada, across the ocean, wherever someone wants to do an event, I'm willing to try to set that up for them.
Now please welcome Bryce Weiler. Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. Today we're talking to Bryce Weiler, and he's the disability consultant for the Baltimore Oriels. He's the advocacy officer and co-founder of the Beautiful Lives Project. That's beautifullives.org. How are you doing, Bryce?
I'm great, Jeff. My nonprofit has been around since May of 2017, the Beautiful Lives Project.
Beautiful Lives Project. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So we work to give individuals of all ages, disabilities, the opportunity to take part in programs with sports teams, cheerleading teams, dance teams, ballet, basically whatever program someone might want across the country. We have different staff members who set up events in certain areas of the country. I set up events all across the country. We have a staff member in the Hartford area who sets up events in Dallas, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Chicago, Illinois, California by Los Angeles, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Long Island, New York, and many more chapters to come all across the country. And we basically give people the opportunity to take part in programs they may not have been able to take part in previously.
Oh, that's great. And that's open to all disabilities.
Yes, all ages, all disabilities as well can take part in these programs. We want to give everyone the opportunity to do something they've always dreamed about doing or to try something new. One of our big staple events is iFly events. We've had some in California and a couple other places across the country. It's an event where people can get into a wind tunnel and through a very large fan, larger than the ceiling fan you may have in your living room or kitchen, they're able to be flown off the ground, and it's like they're flying.
Harry Potter style, eh?
Yeah. We also like having events with college dance teams where people can practice a dance and then do that at halftime of a college sporting event, like a college basketball game. So they really enjoy being able to interact with the dancers and dance team coaching staff and then be able to put what they learned into practice and be out on the court at halftime.
Oh, that's great. I went to your website, and once again, that's beautifullives.org. There's some videos on there. They're actually interacting with professional athletes.
Yes, so I have done programs before with the Evansville Otters, with the Orioles in Baltimore, and with the New Britain Bees, where groups of individuals were able to come out onto the field and play with players and coaches. And it's really a great experience for both groups because they are able to interact with each other and create lifelong lasting bonds, which is the ultimate goal of these programs, giving both groups new friends and new groups they might not have interacted with previously.
Oh, that's great. You're educating professional athletes, organizations, and you're giving the opportunity to individuals to meet the professional. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about your disability consulting with the Baltimore Oriels.
So with the Oriels as their disability consultant, I have helped them make both Camden Yards more accessible as well as their spring training stadium, Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida. An event some of your viewers and listeners may have seen that I helped out with last year in September of 2018 was helping Baltimore become the first ever team in sports to wear Braille on their jerseys to honor people who are blind and to show the importance of people who are blind learning how to read Braille. Their players and coaches had their names and numbers written in Braille on their jerseys.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really something for them to do that.
It was really interesting for them to do that because they are a really forward-thinking organization who likes to go beyond the boundaries of sports and to create these moments through using sports where they can have social change to impact various populations of people across the world and the country. You don't see many sports organizations in this country trying to do that sort of thing.
Bryce, what gave you the spark to start all this awareness?
Sitting on the University of Evansville men's basketball bench in college, thanks to the invitation of the former Aces head men's basketball coach, Marty Simmons, from 2010 through 2014, gave me the opportunity to do something I didn't think I would be able to do, and that is be around a college basketball team and to be around sports. So after finishing up my graduate school over at Western Illinois in Macomb, I wanted to be able to give back to other individuals who may not have had those opportunities or been fortunate enough to take part in those programs like I was when I was at Evansville, to be able to sit on the basketball bench. So I started reaching out to sports teams and all sorts of programs all across the country.
And what kind of tenacity do you have to probably not every sports team reached back or got back to you? How was that for you to probably get turned down, but finally connect up with Baltimore Oriels?
So Baltimore was the first one that I got to do these programs with me, and it was really refreshing and great to be able to do the programs with them. I have heard from a large number of the sports team, so every time I have a new successful event over at Camden Yards or with my nonprofit, I send it to other sports teams who I think that I'm really close getting to do events or programs with, just to let them know what I've been up to.
Yeah, keeping awareness of what you're doing and letting them know really helps.
Yeah.
What upcoming events do you have going on?
I mean, we always have events all over the calendar on our nonprofit. I would suggest looking at our calendar to see what events we have coming up. I know if you're looking for a nice event to get your 2020 started right, and you're in the Richmond, Kentucky area, I have a dance program on January the 4th where any individual can come dance on the court with the Eastern Kentucky dance team at a doubleheader basketball game against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. It's a men's and women's basketball game, and they'll be dancing at two basketball games that day with practice to follow earlier that week. And we always have all sorts of events. So just check the calendar on beautifullives.org. Email me at bryce@beautifullives.org. If you want to volunteer to run a nonprofit chapter across the country, you can do that. We can train you how to do that. If you have a request of a certain event that we've never thought about even booking or scheduling before, like you want to learn how to be a world-class chef and you want some cooking classes, well, we'll try to get cooking classes scheduled for you in your neighborhood of the country.
Oh, that's great. That's an opportunity that stretches all the way across the nation. Good job, Bryce. Now, Bryce, let's talk about Bryce yourself. When did you start using assistive technology?
So I was born 4 months premature, which caused me to be blind. Being born in 1991, I learned how to read Braille when I started kindergarten in 1996, 1997. Probably started using a computer with a screen reading program. I don't think it was JAWS because I'm old enough to have outlived the starting of JAWS, but there was something on that computer. And whenever JAWS came around, I started using JAWS on my computer. Got my first iPhone in 2012 in June with the iPhone 4S. And I've used various other assistive technology throughout my life, like talking scientific calculator, things of that nature.
So you did some math in school?
Yeah, math in high school and college. So I did my talking scientific calculator and still use it sometimes to balance the budget if my iPhone calculator isn't talking to me properly or just won't listen to me.
What was your transition like from high school to college with accessibility in mind?
My colleges were very good with that. They were always able to get my books and things into formats that I needed for math. That was the only book that I had in Braille in college. And other than that, they just scanned the books and emailed me the file in a Word document to save onto my laptop. Or in some cases, they got an audio file that I could listen to. But it was really different listening to books in the Word document format on my laptop. So I had to train myself to really learn how to listen that way versus reading through Braille. So that was different for me and took some getting used to.
Yeah, myself, I was a reader and then I had to switch to audio. And it took a while for me to adapt into that. I mean, listening to books is different, but listening to actual academia stuff is really tough at first.
Yeah. You have to train your mind to really focus on listening to your computer, where most times when you're listening before, you're listening for fun or navigating your desktop. But now it's crucial. You're either going to pass this class or you're not, based on what you get from listening to your computer.
And what'd you do after college?
So after college and after graduate school, that's when I started my work with the Orioles in June of 2016. I finished up graduate school over at Western Illinois in May of 2016. The month before that, you would enjoy this being from Minnesota, and I do believe a Minnesota Twins fan potentially. The Baltimore had me come out to Camden Yards, and I threw out a first pitch to my good friend, Mr. Paul Molitor, who's the former Minnesota Twins manager before Baltimore played the Twins in the third home game of the season in April of 2016.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he grew up here and went to college here. Good guy.
Yeah, played for the University of Minnesota baseball coach, who's still the same coach, I believe, and coached Paul Molitor 30 or 35 years ago.
Yeah, Milwaukee Brewers. He had to cross the river, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. On a daily basis, what's your go-to tools that you're using in assistive technology?
So I use JAWS on my computer. I use VoiceOver on the iPhone. Those are the main two things that I use, my computer, the iPhone. Use my Talking Scientific calculator a little bit, like I said before, and use apps on my iPhone to help me navigate around, but mainly the iPhone and my laptops that have JAWS on them.
What's your favorite navigation app?
It just depends what I'm doing. I have different apps for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Nearby Explorer is the one that I mainly use when I'm in large cities, so I can hear all the buses going by and things like that. When I'm out in the country, Nearby Explorer doesn't work as well, but I'm still able to get my direction and where I'm going.
Is there anything else you would like to tell the listeners?
I mean, basically, we just try to change people's lives by giving them opportunities to take part in programs across the country with my nonprofit. I also work to help companies hire individuals from all disabled groups to be able to take part in, finding a job. I've also helped some companies make their websites more accessible as well. So those are some other things that I do, but really focusing on the Beautiful Lives Project and trying to expand it nationwide and even into Canada, across the ocean, wherever someone wants to do an event, I'm willing to try to set that up for them.
So check it out, beautifullives.org. Bryce, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on to Blind Abilities and sharing with us the great stuff that you're doing. Yeah, go Orioles, right?
Yeah, go, Baltimore. And thanks for having me on, Jeff. If people want to email me, they can do that at bryce@beautifullives.org to find out more about events. They can also call me or text me as well. My phone number is 812-899-5673, 812-899-5673. Keep on doing all these great podcasts, Jeff, and letting people come on and tell their stories about whatever is important to them and what has impacted their life, because everyone has their own life story and challenges that need to be shared about how they've lived that and overcome those issues and obstacles in their life.
Well, thank you, Bryce. Thanks for all you're doing, and we got to get something going out here for the Minnesota Twins before their game.
Yeah, I've been trying with my friend Mr. Dave St. Peter, the president. Haven't had any luck, though.
Well, we'll have to give it a whirl, right? Seems
Sounds
like you're
good.
doing a great job. Seems like you're doing a great job.
Thanks for having me on.
Such a great project, the Beautiful Lives Project. If you want to help support or contribute or volunteer, be sure to contact Bryce at beautifullives.org. And remember, you can enable the Blind Abilities skill on your Amazon device just by saying, Enable Blind Abilities. Big shout out to Cheech Chow for his beautiful music, and a big thank you to you, the listener. I want to thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations
and the
realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blind Abilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.